Even the queen, who typically had little fondness for small children, couldn't help but adore her youngest child. Princess Beatrice managed to win the love of both her mother and father. "She has such delightful blue eyes," Queen Victoria would say. "She is the most beautiful girl in our family." Over the years, the queen's affection for her daughter turned into an obsession, and thoughts of Beatrice marrying filled her with dread. She needed her beloved princess and couldn't bear the thought of being apart from her for even a moment. At the age of 14, Princess Beatrice boldly declared, "I find weddings repugnant. I will stay with Mama." She was being sincere. Her sisters' marriages had not gone well, and the great love between her parents, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, had ended in decades of mourning. Beatrice felt comfortable in her role as the youngest and most cherished daughter. The queen only encouraged Beatrice's desire to remain close, panicking at the thought of separation. They spent hours talking and reminiscing. Gradually, Victoria began to pass more and more secretarial duties to her daughter, writing letters, ensuring their dispatch, sorting through papers, and reviewing her father's notes. Even political correspondence began to flow, first and foremost, through Princess Beatrice's hands. For an ambitious young woman, this could have been a wonderful opportunity to carve out her own path to power, but Beatrice lacked such ambitions. She modestly fulfilled her responsibilities. However, even the queen realized that turning her lovely princess into an old maid was going too far. Reluctantly, the search for a suitor began. Fortunately, there was no need for a special search. Many noble contenders sought Beatrice's hand. Among them was Napoleon Eugene, the son of Napoleon III. The emperor's heir found himself in England in the latter half of the 19th century, and if he married Beatrice, he would likely have stayed in London, which pleased Victoria. But the marriage remained only a proposal. The young man died during the Anglo-Zulu War. "Poor thing, she cries so much," the queen wrote about her daughter in her diary. Beatrice's brother, the Prince of Wales, advocated for an alliance with the Duke of Hesse. This man was already connected to the English royal family through another princess, Alice. However, the potential bride was unenthusiastic, and the House of Lords outright rejected the proposal. Then there were Alexander and Ludwig of Battenberg, but ultimately, Beatrice made her own choice. She decided to marry the younger brother of the rejected suitors, Henry of Battenberg. Queen Victoria ceased communication with her daughter. She fell into such deep despair that her eldest daughter, Vicky, had to intervene. Only then did the queen relent, but she imposed a condition: the prince must remain in the United Kingdom, because she had no intention of parting with her daughter. Once this was agreed upon, the wedding took place, and it was a grand celebration. After a brief hiatus, Beatrice returned to her secretarial duties. Her husband, initially excited about his new status as the royal son-in-law, gradually became disillusioned. He grew bored, struggled to find a purpose, and one day simply ran away to Corsica, from where he had to be brought back on a naval ship. Yet, Beatrice loved him, and they had 4 children together, but their marriage was not destined to celebrate a significant anniversary. Prince Henry of Battenberg passed away. He contracted malaria while away from home, pleading with Queen Victoria for the chance to join the military campaign in Ashanti. Beatrice did not appear in public for nearly a month. She could have remained in solitude longer, but her sense of duty outweighed her profound grief. The aging queen needed her support, and soon Beatrice became the governor of the Isle of Wight. To keep her daughter close, Victoria moved her to Kensington Palace, and each morning began with a visit from Beatrice. The princess would return home at night, ensuring the queen was asleep before she left. This routine continued for 5 more years until the death of Queen Victoria. And then, Beatrice felt lost. Her mother had given her life meaning. She had grown accustomed to having a center in her universe, Victoria. The new monarch, Edward VII, could easily do without her. Although they were siblings, Edward and Beatrice had never been particularly close. Their relationship remained cool and indifferent, with no reason for change. However, there were the children, and Beatrice began to focus more on them. Her beautiful daughter Anna became the Queen of Spain. Sadly, her beloved son Maurice perished during World War I, and another son died from hemophilia, a hereditary illness that this family had passed on to many European monarchies. Only the eldest, Alexander, lived to an old age, married, and had a daughter. In her later years, Beatrice, once the right hand of Queen Victoria, lived quietly in West Sussex. She died there, but according to her wishes, her burial took place on the Isle of Wight, next to her husband. She left behind diaries, both her own and her mother's, which she had edited. It is said that a good third of the content was omitted, as Beatrice deemed it unimportant for future generations. This decision upset family members, who felt the princess had taken on too bold a role. While she had remained with her mother until the very end, the Windsors believed she had no right to edit such documents.